Joanna Small, Public Affairs and Communications Manager for the Lynnwood Police Department. It's Friday, December 31st, and this is your LPD Video Week in Review. Here's a summary of some of the most notable incidents your Lynnwood police officers responded to over this past week or so. During the early morning hours of Christmas Day, officers were dispatched to a car wash on 44th Avenue West when an alarm was tripped at the east-facing door. When they arrived, they found the door had been completely removed from its hinges. A search of the convenience store portion of the car wash revealed several empty shelves where items should be and merchandise strewn all over the floor. Store surveillance footage shows a man dressed in all gray on top with his face almost entirely covered, frantically pulling lottery tickets from rolls behind the counter, then shoving boxes and cartons of cigarettes into a large red duffel bag. The store owner estimates he stole about $2,000 worth of cigarettes in total. The suspect arrived and left on foot. If you recognize this person or know anything about this crime, call the number that's on your screen. On December 23rd, officers were dispatched to Fred Meyer for what originally was a simple shoplift, but had escalated to something far more serious. One of the items the suspect stole was a hatchet, which he tucked into the waistband of his pants. When loss prevention employees confronted him leaving the store with stolen merchandise, he threatened them with the hatchet. The suspect was located near the Fred Meyer and arrested without incident. He first gave officers a false name, but once his true identity was determined, we learned he had a felony warrant out of the Department of Corrections for escape from community custody on a rape charge. We also found burglary tools on his person. He's now facing robbery and making false or misleading statements to a public servant charges. Do you recognize this man? On December 30th, he went into the men's locker room at LA Fitness on Highway 99, cut a lock off a locker, and attempted to take off with the victim's vehicle keys and wedding ring. The victim recovered his keys, but not his ring. The suspect was seen getting into a white sedan, possibly a 2000s Ford or Nissan. The man is described as late 20s, white, about 5'7", and wearing a jacket with noticeable paint on it. If you've seen him, reach out to the email address that's listed there on your screen. Have you seen any of these women? On December 22nd, they exited the Old Navy on Alderwood Mall Parkway with more than $4,000 worth of merchandise. All three got into the same gray Lexus with temporary plates on the windshield. If you have any information on who or where they are, call the number that's on your screen. Now, if you can't tell, around the holidays, we see a significant spike in retail theft, which is why there are so many of these incidents in this edition of the Week in Review. On December 22nd, three women, possibly the same three women involved in the Old Navy theft, also hit the Victoria's Secret, stealing nearly $2,500 worth of items. They quickly moved through the store, making no attempts to conceal the merchandise they're pulling off shelves and racks. Then they just walk out, one of them carrying a pile of clothing so high she can barely see over the top. If you believe you recognize these women, call the number that's on your screen. On December 22nd, officers caught the shoplifters in the act this time and ended up also recovering a stolen vehicle. We were dispatched to Kohl's for reports that three people, two men and a woman, were about to exit the store with $1,000 each of stolen merchandise. When officers ordered the suspects to stop, all three dropped what they had just stolen and ran. The woman was arrested near the vehicle the trio had arrived in. She had a warrant out of King County for possession of a stolen vehicle. The getaway vehicle was also stolen, and so were the license plates. The suspect told officers she was 8.5 months pregnant and had just swallowed 15 large pieces of heroin, so aid was called to the scene. The woman is facing charges for organized retail theft, possession of a stolen vehicle, obstructing a law enforcement officer, the felony warrant, making false and misleading statements, and possession of stolen property from merchandise found in the stolen getaway vehicle. On December 23rd, officers responded to a violent assault and attempted robbery outside the Alderwood Mall. A woman was attacked by two other women. The person she was with recognized as they left Nordstrom. The woman said she was hit and kicked, bruising her forehead and splitting her lower lip. One of the suspects tried to rip the purse the victim was carrying from around her neck. Because the man the victim was with could identify the assailants, officers have their contact information, and detectives are now working on this case. On December 20th, officers were dispatched to a robbery with a gun at the Shell gas station on 44th Avenue West. Clerks reported that two teenagers, one male and one female, attempted to purchase cigarillos. When one of the clerks questioned their age and asked to see ID, the pair initially left the store, but the male came back and attempted to grab the cigarillos from the employee. The other employee chased him out, and once outside the store, the teen pulled a pistol from his jacket pocket, pointed it at the employee, racked the slide, and stated something similar to, "I'll kill you." The employee took cover behind a parked vehicle, and the suspects took off. Detectives are currently using law enforcement contacts to attempt to identify the suspects. If we need public assistance, we will release the surveillance footage from this incident. On December 19th, officers responded to a collision at the intersection of 33rd Avenue West and Alderwood Mall Parkway, in which the driver ran from the scene and was found to have a blood alcohol level content more than 4 times the legal limit to operate a vehicle. He struck a telephone pole, a piece of which broke off and hit a pedestrian who was standing at the intersection. Fortunately, that person had only minor injuries, but was still taken to the hospital for treatment. Very late on December 28th, our neighboring agency, Lynnwood Police, responded to an armed robbery at a local cannabis store. The suspect indicated he had a gun, then took off. Lynnwood officers spotted the getaway vehicle on Highway 99 a short time later, conducted the high-risk traffic stop, and were able to take the suspect safely into custody. We were glad to be able to assist the Edmonds community by making this arrest. And finally, we continue to see a high number of vehicle prowls as well as catalytic converter thefts. Over the past 14 days, we've had 15 prowls reported, 6 of which resulted in the theft of a catalytic converter. We can never say it enough. Although there's very little you can do to protect your car's undercarriage, you can make it less appealing to thieves by removing all of your valuables anytime you leave it, regardless of the time of day or night and how long you'll be away from your vehicle. That's all for now. Have a fantastic New Year's Eve, and remember, just like every other night, we are on the lookout for DUIs. So please, celebrate sober, use a designated driver, or call a rideshare. Happy New Year, Lynnwood.